What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ticker. We're here with Peter Brown. He just top playing. What were you playing, brother?
I played Sky Strikers. I won
Sky Striker?
Yeah.
Why'd you choose to play Sky Striker?
Also, I love this deck. I like the deck because it has a lot of skill expression. I think also one thing about this deck is it's good at regionals like this because people are still getting used to new cards. So a lot of the intricacies about like zero tribute effect people aren't really used to. But also it's very like charmy ignorant. So a lot of times people will like Perulia me and I'd be like, I don't care. Or they flawless me and I don't care that much. Sometimes I Ashes, sometimes I don't. But compared to like when I played Mitsu Raziel, I got so frustrated when I faced those cards. So I thought playing this, playing something a little bit different helped play around what people are playing, and it's just really, really fun deck. This deck is so much fun. I could play this deck for hours and hours. So.
There we go. How did we do? What place we come in?
I got 6th place.
6th place is nice, brother. Congratulations.
6th place, top 8. So my first top 8, pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
All right, want to do any shout outs before we start?
Shout out to Team Zero, Los Papitos, everyone, Javi, Joel, Brian, Manin, Chase, Ethan. Obviously, if I'm forgetting your name, I'm so sorry. I have people at Warehouse back in Indiana, Nerd Aim. So, but yeah, I think it's good to go because there's lots to talk about. So,
let's go.
So 3 Ray, 1 Rose. I don't play Desires. If you play Desires, then you have to play more than these. This card is a quasi brick now because the way this card works is you have to summon both Ray and Rose, and this is like the boss monster. That's one thing I like about this deck is that you make your boss monster in 1 step. That's why Flawless doesn't do that much against you. And if you draw this, you can't activate this card's tribute effect. And so kind of a brick, although it works going first because you can end phase Suzuki add linkage, make 0 in the end phase, but generally speaking, you don't want to draw this card. So you only play more as you play Desires, but I didn't play that because it just enters a lot of variants. But Ray is 1 card, full combo, it's so great. So obviously you play 3 Engage.
Obviously.
Yeah, best card. Yeah, every time I drew that card in my hand, I was very happy. 3 Linkage, that's quasi starter, 3 Anchor. Solid card. Malice in particular doesn't like on-field effect negation, so having anchors around is pretty good. I played 2 copies of Lemnis Gate. This is one of the new ones, non-target bounce and like recycle the whole deck. There was a time today where I passed on my opponent and I had this set up with 6 and 6, so I could bounce 4 cards, which is pretty crazy. I play 2 because it's a good card to draw. It's a good card to set when your opponent doesn't know that you have it. Another thing is. In the grind, you want to sometimes dump 1 and use that to banish in order to link summon your opponents from like some Zeke or some Azalea or something like that. But the other one is generally for recycling, so that's part of the reason why you play 2. If you banish it in order to link summon, you lose a lot of your grind games, and once those zeros are used, you're not going to get them back. So you can just kind of loop this stuff forever if you kind of hold 1 just for recycling. So that's why I played 2. Yeah. I did play Area Zero, and I played Terraforming. I played this deck at Nats. I didn't play it then, but I knew for a regional, I just wanted something for consistency. And so although you play a little bit harder to draw, generally speaking, I don't even care that much about draw because you make your boss monster in 1 step. You can, if you don't have that much on engine, you can just add Anchor as your first search. If they draw then, you're still ending on 0 and an Anchor. But generally speaking, you just want your deck to start. Right. If this deck plays, it does well. At Nats, I lost whenever I would get negated on this card's tribute effect, or I would brick. And so I was like, well, should play more consistency cards, and so many Sky Striker names that I think it made sense. Yeah. And there were times where I bricked my hand today. Like this is my only starter, and then it hit me a linkage, and I was like, all right, we're playing.
And just extra spells for the graveyard.
Extra spells, yeah. That's another big thing about it too, is that it's another name for Lemnis Gate. So that game where I said that I passed to my opponent with a bounce 4. One of the spells was Area Zero, and it just kind of turbocharged the amount of bounces that I have. And so I think that Area Zero impressed me a little bit today when I kind of looked down on it as like a 2018 card before. It works well with multi-roll. Everyone gets afraid when you use this card, because like if they have a bunch of negate monsters use this, they're like, we have to stop that. Drones, quasi-starter. I sometimes decide going second because you're drawing a 6th card, you're siding in Charmies. It's kind of easy to kill the token, but it can start if going first. Cannon, it's good against Fiendsmith. It's good against Mitsurugi. It's just really, really solid card overall.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, so all those striker cards. I did play the goods package. Don't want to draw too many of these. You want to set up 3 spells, and so that's why this is pretty solid. And this is a good board breaker. This is also the best Thrust target that I have for the deck. Thrust is an amazing card in this deck, and but it's nice to have this kind of additional utility as well. So this card actually helped a lot today. 3 Thrust. Card's amazing.
One of the greatest cards in the game.
Yeah, this card is going to get hit someday, especially as they make more of these turn 0 hand traps. But super, super solid, especially going second. So although I don't play that many hand traps, it did make it so I could break so many boards going second. Like a lot of times my opponent would end on stuff, and this card helped you plow through it. It does again, it does die a little bit to drool, but like every deck kind of has that problem. That's one thing I rationalize about this deck is like, well, if you're going second with Mitsurugi, if your opponent has a full board and drool, you're probably going to lose that too. So that's why, like, doesn't mean that you can't play Striker. But this deck can take advantage of thrust probably better than most other decks. And then the best card is Talents, of course. That's one of the best thrust targets. Cross out to negate droll, but mainly the thing is, and this is the secret of this deck is, the thing that kills this deck is when you negate Zero's tribute effect. And the key thing that I lose to is Ash on this effect, or Dominus Impulse, or Bell. And so holding this for Ash is so critical. Same thing with this. So that's one of the things I think about the most with these cards is like, have I checked for Ash? Like Droll, like I can play through Droll, but believe it or not, like because this card is disruption, it's recursion, it's lethality, it's everything. So that's why like this card is so important to protect. So that's why these cards are very important.
We don't want to give away too much goop, right?
No, I mean, people should know, because when you're facing this deck, I would say let them engage a bunch of times. And if you have Ash, hold it for this card's tribute effect. It's everything. Rhoda, because it's broken. And then I did play a couple of hand traps, not a ton. One thing that's nice is these two can be quasi board breakers, and this card is just kind of good. I faced against a 60 card Mitsurugi pile earlier, and I was able to kind of like turn off his deck with this pretty easily. Kind of helps turn the tides in your favor. Right, yeah, it's also good when you have a full board. And these cards, they're good hand traps overall. I need this as a cross out target. I had upstarts at Nats over this, but I kind of value being able to set this if you do get drolled. It just effect negation feels pretty strong right now, and so usually this is enough because drawing cards like this 6 card isn't that bad. A big thing is I didn't main the Charmies because it's when you draw off engage a bunch of times, you're not trying to draw those cards. But I can draw Imperm, Droll, Ash, and that's what I did, and that's why I was able to make like, these really strong boards. When I went first, I really never lost. Yeah, so extra deck. It's really all the Sky Strikers. So I do play 3 of these. You do go through them, even though you play 2 Lemnis Gate. The third one comes up. 3 Kagari. The third one comes up. These cards are just like
best link right now.
Yeah, they're just really important. They're just your deck. Your grind game is like way better than any other deck besides like maybe Malice. Just that deck's grind game is really unique. 2 Zeke. Again, the second Zeke comes up because you are Lemnis Gating on their turn, and then you're probably maybe summoning this on your own turn to kind of break stuff further. So I think playing a second. One of the reasons why I played so many of the Striker links, so I played Hayate Shizuku, kind of you don't need more than any one of these, and I played as I didn't summon this. Yeah, this is from this is a year old. Yeah. So I played. It's just good because this can remove one, this removes one, this removes one. You just go through them one by one, and you can just like pick apart any board. I made so many boards today go from like 6 cards to 0. This card is solid, but the thing is that linkage locks you. I think that's the thing that you have to remember when you look at your extra deck is you get locked by one of your most important cards a lot. And so that's why you could play Access Code, you could play Dark, but you get Striker locked so often, I don't think it makes that much sense. Yeah. SP, that one does come up because sometimes if you're trying to break a board, you're trying to make SP before you use linkage. Sometimes I would use SP and remove this. And then this card,
Typhon just goes
Typhon's just one of those cards where it's kind of hard to explain why it's very good, but you can just kind of set it against like a detonator or something like that. It works in like these situations where there's not a lot of time left in the round. It comes up in these really unique tournament situations that is really solid. And I did summon it like twice today. So and also it's a dark one. I won one game today because I made Typhon against Malice, and then I anchored his one of his Malice guys. I took it and I made Azalea with it, and that's how I played. Nice. Yeah, so that's kind of cute. Side deck, 3 Lancia for Malice, obviously.
Again, hurting my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, you got to play it. I didn't draw against the Malice I played today, but it's all right. I did side the Charmies because if I know I'm going second, then I think these cards are fine. One thing I really like about these is they bait out Ash, and that again, I go back to like that's the card that really matters is Ash Blossom against this deck.
Toss the Ash as quick as possible.
If I fool with them and they Ash it, I'm like great. And also, if I truly a Vanquish Soul player and they let it go, I'm like great. So I think these cards are fine when you know you're going second, but when you're main decking that was more sus when you're drawing a bunch of cards. So that's kind of the idea. This deck is limited by the powerful normal spells in the game. There aren't that many good normal spell board breakers, so I opted for these. You could play Second Storm over this, but this card just comes up in UU situations. It's a striker name. You can hit it with Area 0. You can draw it later. This card you have to use first because sometimes you have things set up, and this card is just really good. This card impressed me. A lot of times my opponent will have a Caesar. I just kind of ignore it, and it just has like a lot of good utility. And it's more food for Lemnis Gate too. Hamp, this is for, you could play against other things, but it's mainly for Lunar Light, just so you have an out. And then instead of Judgments, I played these two cards. This is probably, if you're gonna play 2 normal traps, I thought these 2 would probably have the widest reach. Could play Mist of the Gnomes, but this kind of covers like other stuff too. I said this against Centurion earlier, but the one I'm usually setting is DDG. This card is crazy. This card is just, oh yeah. I had a game where I Talents looked at my Rizio opponent's hand. He had X'd Node Ice. I put back Ice. I set DDG. Pass back to him. He can't special summon X'd with its effect because it has to send to grave, and so he had to normal X. I negated it. And then like he had like no play after that, but like he might have been able to like special X and then normal node or something like that if I didn't have that. And then he could have done some like Fiendsmith lines if it had been this instead. Or actually not in that exact situation, but like in general, like being able to like stop X that way he can't like send the thing that pops face downs, stuff like that. So anyway, yeah.
It's
so
good, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Anything you change in the deck?
I think this deck is really solid. I think it's not waiting for more striker support. I think the new links, the other links that are OCG only, they're solid, but I think this deck is kind of held back by the power of board breaker spells. So if they make more normal spells for this deck, I think it could get better. But in general, it's just, if Dominus Impulse cycles out, this deck is stronger, but if that card stays around, this deck's time limited. But I think that, in general, it's a good response to what people are playing right now. So if I don't care about Charmies, that's great. So I love this deck.
There you go. Don't care about Charmies.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you, guys.